Forum, dollar title. Forums, index writers workshop dollar title. Template, dollar title. On November 12, 2019. Disney released Disney Plus in the US, Canada and the Netherlands. The initial launch of Disney Plus came less than 2 weeks after Apple TV Plus rolled out. I decided to use Disney Plus and I still use it till this day. Sometimes, I bring my friends over to my house and we watch our favorite Disney movies together. We hung out and had some snacks. After my friends left, something popped up on my recommendations. It was called Dollar Title. I've used Disney Plus several times before and I've never seen this pop up as a recommendation. I click on one of the boxes in the recommendation and nothing happens. I waited a few minutes for something to happen but it keeps on lagging. I turned off Disney Plus and I went to bed. As I go to sleep, I dream about me and my friends at the park. But as I was walking around, my friends started noticing people staring at us. They looked confused and they took a step back. My friends and I started to pay attention to our surroundings. We eventually noticed someone in our group that we didn't recognize before. He was holding some money in his hand. My friends' voices started becoming distorted and laggy. As this was happening, the people that were staring at us started to say, this isn't going to plan again, let's get it out. They got out a button that said restart. As they got out the button, I started to feel sick. I looked down when they pressed it and I immediately woke up. When I woke up, I pulled out my phone next to my charger. I checked Twitter, I noticed that someone got cancelled. A business executive from Disney who slowed down the company by making uncreative decisions, such as the creation of the live-action remakes which sucked. And I agreed with Twitter canceling him. But when I went to do more research on him, I found no records of his existence. However, I found a website that had information about him. It says that he's making a project outside of Disney. In an interview on the website, he says that the project is called Dollar Title, and he said he had to remake it because of all of his other projects slowing him down. In a quote, he says, "Nothing is going to plan, everything is confusing. I have to take a step back and restart it. It's so annoying it makes me sick." I started clicking on other links on the website. However, they were all down. Not one of them led to actual information. There was even a YouTube video that was deleted. I decided to share it on Twitter and people picked it up. The people were a bit speculative over the movie and they said they weren't able to record it. But they had no idea what was going on in the movie that they couldn't be able to describe it. It was a bummer that they weren't able to record it. I didn't decide to tell them about my experience. It isn't as important as theirs, but I felt like there was another feeling that I couldn't describe. It also told me that I shouldn't share it. But I didn't understand the feeling. It made me just hide it. I decided to go get a drink and watch more Disney Plus. When I turned on Disney Plus, everything for a split second was Dollar Title, but I was scrolling down and I found a documentary. It was called They Didn't Like My Friends. I noticed that the person in the documentary looked similar to the people in my dream. In the documentary, the director is discussing how a single friend can corrupt a friend group and how over time you won't recognize them as your friends anymore. This made me think about my friends and how they seemed like they were hiding back secrets. Then I decided that I should invite them to watch Disney Plus again. However, when I tried to message them, an error message showed up. It said, "Your message failed to send to this recipient, check your internet connection." So I went to check my internet connection. I noticed that there was another router called Dollar Title. I'm starting to get that it's trying to tell me something with all the other times that I've seen it. But now I'm going to figure out what it's telling me. However, I didn't know what the password is. I then facepalmed realizing that I'm not going anywhere with this. Then I realized that Dollar Title was in my recommendations again. As much as I wanted to click on it, I remember what the people said on Twitter about the movie. I went back on Twitter about what the people said about the movie. But when I got to it, the messages got deleted. I go back to the website and I realized that there were some things that I didn't read. In the interview, the business executive says that he would share the movie with some people of his choosing. The people I choose to see the movie will agree with criticism but will not create criticism. I realized that I fell into this category with my friends. I realized that I agreed with my friends with their opinions and thoughts, but I never gave criticism to my friends. My friends seem like they're hiding things, but in reality they're being silent because I don't give a reason for them to talk that much because I don't criticize them. Then I decided to sit down so I can organize my thoughts. But I sat down on the remote and played the movie. Title. The movie starts with people on a bench. They're watching people walk throughout the park. The two people on the bench are named Ben and Mark. These two men are talking about how all the people they see walking by the park are full of opportunities. They can bring so much into Ben and Mark's lives that they can give so much to them. They have the world in their hands. Mark says. Ben whispers, yet, they don't give us a piece. Ben and Mark get off the bench. B, is it that we don't make them think? Or is it that we are not interesting enough? It could be anything. M, they don't have what we have. B, are you talking about the button? M, yes. Ben starts walking towards the friend group and pulls out some money and the friend group's voices start to become distorted and laggy. This isn't going to plan again, let's get it out. Ben pulled out the button and pressed it. The guy in front looks down when Ben presses the button. Then Ben says, these people can't handle our existence. However, we can help them handle their existence. I get that, but when will the project be finished? B, the money I've been using works. It's just that the people we go to with it aren't worthy of its presence. Money can do anything with the cost of time. People are what allows money to do anything. However, some people don't have the essence to get to money. Thank God we have the button. Imagine what would happen if people were stuck in their position. B, Project title will be trashed without the button. If things don't go to plan and we don't have the button, then the world will crumble before us. I paused the movie for a break. The meta nature that I just witnessed is overwhelming my head. It's hard for me to understand and I can't get anything to record it. I go into my room and start to comprehend what I just saw. I realized if this happens in a dream, then I realized that lucid dreaming can make me God. I decided to search about lucid dreaming. I found out if I get out a piece of paper then I write what I want to happen on it, put it next to me and envision the text in my head. I should be able to dream. The question that I had that I dreamed before I witnessed the movie. Will it even be connected to the movie? And if it does get connected to the movie, do I become God or drown in things that I don't understand? All this information is too much for me to take in. I decided to relax and go back into the living room and continue watching the movie. That would be a nightmare. There's certain people that if the button was used on lucid dreams, then it will break. And all will fall. B, I think that would never happen. Both Ben and Mark stare at the screen and towards me. They go up to me in the movie and Ben flips the button and it reveals to be a control pad. They flip a switch called Awaken. Then I start to feel sick again. I look down again and on the floor, I see a reflection of myself in the movie. My other self says, please do it. I need the power. Mark starts laughing. It's a show. It's a game. It's a joke. B, these children don't know what they're doing. My friends knock on the door. Without hesitation, I go and open the door. Ben then says, we're gonna have to disconnect him. I paused the film and let my friends in and I showed the film to them. All my friends say that they have never seen this film on Disney Plus before. I try to tell them about the movie. They didn't understand any of it. They started to think that I was crazy, and they said that the people that were them in the movie didn't look like them at all. As me and my friends start to group together and watch the movie, they begin to point out things that I didn't notice before. Mostly the differences between us in the movie and us in real life. To my surprise, it was pretty reasonable. When we got to the part where I left off, my friends started to think that it's a normal movie. And that I was on something. They thought that the parties that we had together were pretty intense to be making me such a lit as I was right now. However, as the movie continued, they started to take me more seriously. Mosty the Button and Money Plot. Thinking about how the reflection between the plot and the real world started to think that there was something going on behind the scenes. At one point, Ben was looking down at a knife, realizing how many times they had to press the button. Ben and Mark started to get desperate, realizing that their ideal and their plans may not go through fruition. They decided to do something Jurassic. My friends started thinking about what they went through with their lives. Must have some meaning to the plot of this movie. They asked me who is the director of this movie or who made this movie. I showed them the website that was talking about the business executive who got cancelled. They said that they were on Twitter the day that happened and no one got cancelled. I then checked my Twitter account and it wasn't the one that I was in yesterday. I then started getting really stressed. I asked them why they came and they said that I told them to come. I then realized that it did send and that the error message was a lie. I then checked the network and I realized that there was no connection called $title. I then started to freak out as if nothing made any sense. As if I was placed into this world to be confused and laughed at. As if everything was changing. I couldn't find any roots to what was going on. One of my friends brought up the business executive saying that they saw the business executive before. That they were a normal person in their neighborhood. And they had no idea that they could be living a second life whatsoever. My friends told me that they helped him get through a lot of stuff. As the movie went on, my friends started to think that they were tools and pawns of inspiration for this movie. They're just lab rats, people to be studied and recreated. My friends started to realize what I was thinking and what I was going through. One of my friends wanted to help me. They were saying that it isn't as complicated as I was thinking. Then the movie starts lagging. Text appeared on the screen, user 56170630 has awakened. The clouds draw near. All my friends got confused and the movie went back to normal. As the movie continued, Ben's voice got higher pitched. At some point, we saw Ben's face with exaggeration. Then his limbs started falling apart. Mark then said, "This has gotten too far. We made too many mistakes and now we're paying the price for it." Then we saw something out the window. It was a mouth-formed human. It looked like a computer glitch combined with a light source. One of my friends suggested throwing something at it. However, another one of my friends said that we should run. Ben then said, that would be a mistake. Ben then started to get covered by leeches and ticks. That mouth-formed glitched human outside the window then announced, "Don't worry children, God will come soon." One of my friends started to shake. They ran into the bathroom and started vomiting. I felt sick. I felt like my hands were becoming loose threads. And my head felt like an anvil. One of my friends then said that user 56170630 is here. They said it over and over again without rest. Then I noticed that the mouth-formed glitched human disappeared. Me and my friends hear a knock at my door. I didn't invite anyone else to my house besides my friends. But it might be the mailman or a neighbor. I open the door and I see myself. "Who are you?" The person like me responds with, "I'm user 56170630. You have encountered a fatal mistake in your reality. Allow me to fix it." I then appeared at the bottom of a nameless, endless ocean. I begin to panic. I started hearing voices telling me to sleep. I then realized that it was all a dream and I missed some of the movie that I was watching. What did I miss? I was watching Monsters Inc. And I accidentally fell asleep while I was watching the movie. I tell myself about title. I thought that I was crazy and that the movie doesn't exist. As the movie ends, I laugh knowing that I made up a whole fantasy of friends to enjoy a non-existent movie that I made up to quench the loneliness that I suffer from watching Disney Plus all day. And to this day, I still watch Disney Plus. Leave feedback. Close the space between the 4 tildes in the box and hit the leave feedback button to begin your comment.